Mind Heritage, empowering mind.
Now, we talked about components of a pitch, the 3-minute rule. And on average, they tell us that you have only 3 minutes to pitch your idea. Do you know how many minutes it took to pitch the AIDS virus drug? The guys wanted to get that, it's called what? ARVs. The guys wanted to get funding for it. Do you know how long it took them? Google. You'll be surprised. Polio. You'll be surprised. It was less than. Yet they need keep standing. Yet they needed what? All the science, evidence, and blah blah blah, and whatever they needed. But now we say that for us to pitch, we need one. We talked about this some other time. There should be attention. What is going to grab my attention to listen to you? Because we know today our attention span is less than a goldfish. Less than 3 seconds, we are off doing other things. Attention, then interest. You've grabbed my attention. To keep it, you have to create interest. The other is raise the desire for me to keep hearing you. Then we have a call to action. And in that desire, you're either becoming a solution provider, or why you're talking what you're talking about. Not so. So last week we saw that this is called what, a triangle, rectangle, square?
Triangle.
A triangle that has 3. You remember in high school they used to tell you to write a story. You need 3 things: the heading, the main body, and the conclusion. Basically, this is what they were telling us. Your heading should be so attention grabbing that I cannot miss it. Robin Sharma wrote one of his books, The Monk Who Sold a Ferrari. Do monks own anything? You get? You've heard who moved my cheese. You know? Those attention grabbing titles. And many others. Now the first thing is that to take your attention, you're like, okay, what up? Now here, this is where you bring your attention grabbing. Here you bring your interest and the desire. Here, call to action. Many of us never close, neither do we sell. I'll come and tell you, you know what, I deal in selling these markers. This is the first mark, by the way, it's waterproof, you can rub and blah blah blah. And you're moving like, okay, yeah, that's it. You don't give me your contacts, you don't tell me where you're located, you don't tell me how much you're selling it. You never close. So there is no call to action. Now let's go back. We said, if you marry this, start with what are you selling? It should be aligned with the attention grabbing. The second is why should I listen to you? Not so. Why? Why should I stop when an elevator, where the elevator thing originated from? Why should I stop and, by the way, what were you saying? It's your why. Because why you do anything is how you do everything. How? How am I going to benefit from it? And the last comes back to what? Then what should I do? Yes, you've told me everything. Then what? So it still falls. Now let's go back to Albert's topic, money. What would be your attention grabbing statement? I don't know. Think about it, because you're going to recraft it and come back and repeat. Most cases, I normally, when I'm giving my talks and when you listen to many people, that the definition of a thing comes in the explanation of what they're talking about. It doesn't come up front. We don't like to define things. Unless I ask you, you're talking to me and I'm like, by the way, you're talking about money. What is money? What is your definition of money? Or what does money mean? But if I'm trying to sell something, I won't start with, by the way, when we talk about money, money is any means of exchange. I'm off. I'll be minding on my phone already. So you should get something that will take my attention up front. Who can think of a statement we can use when starting this topic? What does everybody desire?
I was about to say, what is something we look for?
Absolutely. What is something that everyone looks for the rest of their lives? Now, you anticipate. I may not tell you the answer, but I'll keep driving my conversation, then you'll get to know the answer. Because if I still tell you money is everything, it can start, but you've reduced on the attention, on the attention grabbing, because you've already told me what it is. There is one I normally use, the story of the Titanic, when I'm talking about mental health. I don't tell them the Titanic. I start by telling them in 1945 there's this big ship that was built, and the builder said God cannot capsize it, was supposed to move from, and you're already anticipating. It's already, you're trying to think, you think you know it, but you want to put facts together to prove that actually what I'm talking about is what you're thinking. And that's how you keep me in tune to you, to listen. So as Aaron said, what is one thing that every one of us does what?
Looks for most of our lives.
Looks for most of our lives. Even if I pause there and I look at you, you'll keep looking at me, waiting for me to tell you what the thing is. But I may not tell it up front. I put it in the conversation. Now, that's when your history comes in. This thing actually has been there even before Christ. People are like, what is it, religion? Is it blah blah blah? You see? Do you think you'll turn to your phone until I tell you what it is? You'll keep listening in to get to know which one is that? What is it? What is the thing that I look for and was there before Christ? Now you're building. Now, you cannot craft your conversation if you do not know your call to action. What? What do you want me to do at the end of it all? Now you've talked about money. So are you teaching me how to invest money? How to get money? How to use money? Right? Now that will determine the essence of your conversation. At the end of it all, there is something I should do out of your conversation, because every pitch has two things, more or less, of communication. Two things. There are two fundamental pillars. If you don't have them, you'll never communicate, you'll never sell. One is to influence. Not so. We communicate at any one point to influence. And influence starts from values, morals, your inner thoughts, how you feel, fall here. How you do it. And the second is action. You can influence me, but if I don't act, you've not influenced me. Yes? Action or direction, either way. Now, the same thing happens to pitching. You pitch because you're communicating to influence or to make people act on a certain thing, which falls in the third, in the last, or what should I do after? Now, after it all, why were you telling us about money? You didn't close, did you? Best if you remember right what you said. You did close. Did you sell? You didn't sell. Did you give information? You didn't give information. You just spoke. And if it was something, all of us would be now on our smartphones trying to Google other things or looking at our statuses and media handles. Let's go to relationships. Dating. Now you know what to do, because you're going to do it actually. Now, at least Anne did something. She started by asking us, which is one way of getting our attention. And she started with something very interesting. but she didn't craft it very well. About the 55 seconds, 55 minutes. I didn't know about this, but I wanted to know, is it true? Even you're asking, how? I did not know. You see how it kept you engaged with your mind and also with the information she's feeding you with? But she didn't craft it very well. But it was something that you can now reconsider in recrafting. Oh, it can also be a question. Why do we date? You started with a question, which is very good. Actually, when we're talking about attention, it can be a question, it can be a story, it can be a narrative, it can be statistics. All this can fall here. So yours was a question. Now, what about dating? What are you trying to communicate about dating?
So I'm saying, what are the rules of dating?
What are the rules of dating? So what was the end in mind?
The end in mind is at the end of the day, dating is inevitable. Yeah. So it's important for us to understand the rules and the purpose and why we need to date. Because I said at the end, I was like, we need to date because at the end of the day, we need companionship.
Now you see, with that mindset, that means your whole essence of the discussion was why? Why do we date? What's the essence? Now you are supposed to give us the essence at the end of it all. So that if I've not thought about dating, when I leave this place, I should flip in my phone and see, who are the potential, because you have given me the information on why I should date, which you did not do. Right? But following this, can we sit back and now craft a 3-minute pitch? Now that we have understood the flow or the pattern, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? How and what? That would help us now get the real foundation of it.
Mind Heritage, empowering mind.